Welcome back to Scoper 360, the channel where we break down the gear that everyone talks about, and sometimes, the gear that nobody wants to. Today, we're diving into a subject that might surprise you. Walk into any gun shop, and you'll see them sitting there on the shelves. Cheap hunting rifles with price tags so low, you'll look twice. At first glance, they seem like a bargain. But if they're such a steal, why is nobody buying them? Are they unreliable, unsafe, or simply not worth the trouble? In this review, we're counting down 7 of the most ignored budget hunting rifles. From number 7 down to number 1. We'll uncover the flaws, the frustrations, and even a few redeeming qualities along the way. More importantly, we'll talk about whether saving a few bucks is really worth the headaches these rifles can bring. Stick around, because by the end, you might rethink that so-called deal the next time you're standing in front of the gun rack. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to Scoper 360, hit the like button. At number 7, we have the Remington 770, a rifle that looks tempting at first sight. Its low price tag often draws in beginners who think they've stumbled across a hidden gem. In reality, it's a rifle that has frustrated countless hunters. The biggest issue lies in its feeding system. Rounds often jam halfway into the chamber, and instead of pulling the trigger, you're stuck wrestling with a jammed bolt. Speaking of the bolt, it feels sticky and sluggish, making quick follow-up shots nearly impossible. The magazine doesn't help either. Its flimsy design, with feed lips that bend easily and a release that often fails to lock, creates even more feeding problems. And let's not forget the build-quality plastic parts where durability matters most. Over time, that lack of sturdiness becomes obvious. There's even a safety concern. The bolt can come apart with a live round in the chamber, something no hunter should have to worry about. While it might save you money at the counter, the Remington 770 can cost you dearly in frustration, missed shots, and potentially unsafe situations. Moving on to number 6, the Ruger American Rifle. Now, Ruger is a respected name, and at first glance, this rifle looks like a solid choice for budget-conscious hunters. But here's the catch: reliability and consistency aren't guaranteed. Older models with rotary magazines were notorious for jamming, and even the newer detachable magazines aren't perfect. They sometimes fail to lock in place, or worse, interfere with the bolt itself. Plastic magazine releases are another weak spot. They break easily, leaving you with a rifle that won't feed when you need it most. Then there's accuracy. Some models don't have a free floated barrel, which means the stock presses against the barrel and affects shot consistency. Add in a long, squishy trigger pull with noticeable creep, and lining up a clean shot becomes harder than it should be. Even the design of the cheek piece is flawed. It sits too low, making it awkward to get a proper sight picture. Sure, the Ruger American is affordable, often priced in the $450 to $550 range, depending on the model. But when you add in the cost of extra magazines and the frustration of inconsistent performance, hunters tend to walk right past it. At number 5, we find the Savage Axis. On paper, it looks like an entry-level rifle that should do the job. In practice, it falls short in several key areas. The trigger is one of the biggest complaints. Instead of a clean, crisp break, you get a heavy, drawn-out pull that demands extra effort. That alone makes accurate shooting harder. The safety isn't much better: stiff, awkward, and sometimes unreliable. There have even been reports of the safety disengaging on its own, which is a serious concern in the field. Ejection problems also plague the Axis, with casings that fail to clear the chamber, forcing the shooter to manually pull them out. Accuracy is another weak point. Despite experimenting with different ammunition, many shooters find the rifle struggles to maintain consistent groupings. The stock doesn't help matters either. It's long, awkwardly shaped, and finished in a way that feels cheap. Yes, it's inexpensive, usually in the $400 range. But once you experience the frustrations of the Axis, You'll understand why so many hunters leave it on the rack. Coming in at number 4 is the Mossberg ATR. At first glance, it might look like a rugged, budget-friendly rifle. But dig deeper, and the problems become clear. Feeding and ejection issues are common. Spent casings don't always eject properly, and the bolt doesn't always lock securely. That's a red flag when dealing with a live round. The trigger is unpredictable as well, sometimes failing to reset, which creates doubt every time you squeeze it. Handling isn't much better, with an uncomfortable stock that makes the rifle feel less natural in your hands. Durability is also a problem. Plastic parts like the sling mounts, trigger guard, and magazine floor plate wear out quickly compared to metal components. Even the scope mounts are unreliable, known to loosen with extended use. And then there's the barrel, which heats up quickly and can cause accuracy to drift after multiple shots. At around $350 to $400, it may seem like a bargain, but when misfires, lose parts and accuracy issues stack up, the Mossberg ATR simply doesn't inspire trust. Number 3 brings us to the Thompson Center Venture. When it first hit the market, it gained some attention, but trust was quickly eroded by safety recalls. In 2011, the Venture was recalled because it could fire without the trigger being pulled. 2 years later, another recall was issued because the safety lever didn't fully engage. With that kind of history, it's hard for hunters to feel confident in the design. Beyond safety, there are practical frustrations too. The trigger is inconsistent. The bolt often seizes after just a few shots, and extraction issues leave spent casings stuck in the chamber. Even the factory-installed scope bases were a problem, with reports of them working loose over time. All of this adds up to a rifle that's difficult to trust, no matter how appealing the price might be. Generally found around $500, the Venture is cheap, but peace of mind is priceless. And most hunters would rather spend more on a rifle that won't let them down. At number 2, we have the Savage Model 340, an older design that still lingers on the used market. While affordable, sometimes as low as $300. The flaws are too significant to ignore. The bolt is stiff and awkward, slowing down follow-up shots. Feeding is another headache, as the rifle lacks a proper feed ramp, causing frequent jams. Some users even report the rifle firing unexpectedly when the bolt is opened or closed, due to issues with the firing pin not staying cocked. Ejection is equally frustrating, thanks to a weak spring that often forces shooters to remove shells by hand. Ammunition choices are limited as well, making it a poor fit for anyone who likes flexibility. The magazine system is unreliable, with weak springs and easily bent feed lips that create more feeding problems. To top it all off, mounting a scope is clumsy at best, often leaving the optics slightly off-center. While the low price might tempt bargain hunters, most realize quickly that the Savage 340 is more trouble than it's worth. Finally, at number 1, the H&R 1871 Ultra Rifle. This single-shot rifle is simple, affordable, and often priced under $350. But simplicity isn't always a strength. Its ejection system is a hassle, with spent casings often stuck and requiring manual removal. The trigger is heavy, breaking at around 6 pounds, which makes precision shooting difficult. Customization is limited, barrel swaps aren't practical, and upgrade options are few. While accuracy is acceptable at short ranges, the rifle struggles at longer distances, delivering inconsistent performance. And because it's a single shot, you have to break open the action and reload every time, which slows the shooting process and makes follow-up shots impossible in fast-moving hunting scenarios. For many hunters, the slow operation and limited reliability outweigh the attractive price. The H&R 1871 might look like a budget-friendly option, but in practice, it's often left sitting on the shelf. And there you have it, the 7 cheap hunting rifles that continue to gather dust in gun shops across the country. From feeding issues and unreliable triggers to serious safety concerns, each of these rifles proves that saving money up front isn't always the best deal in the long run. As always, our goal here at Scoper 360 is to give you the real story so you can make smarter choices. Do you agree with this list? Or do you think one of these rifles deserves a second chance? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Scoper 360 so you never miss our next deep dive review. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.